Welcome to chapter 3 of the step 1 of creating a life that you love. If you are new here and you are finding me from this video, I am Cecilia Hendricks. I am the host of the podcast Unleashing Happiness, and I am teaching others my way that I found to create a process for the law of attraction, law of assumption to work for me. So I essentially paired the teachings of like Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, Dr. Joe Dispenza, even teachers of today like Tony Robbins and etc., with the scientific tools that you can use to feel better, become this person that you want, and to really use habits in your daily routines to take a look at the life that you're leading. So, I probably about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, really got to the point of being like, you know what, this is working sometimes for me, and sometimes it's just not. And I'm getting really kind of frustrated in some points. And there was key areas of life that I noticed that I was having the most struggles, and I really wanted to see some changes. And so what I did was I had this epiphany where I was like, man, if I am going to really change my life, I need to look at the person that I am. I can't take this old version of me into this new life. Like, I need to view my thoughts, beliefs, habits, and routines in a way to make sure that I'm aligned to kind of how I want to behave and the person I want to be. And it was not creating a forced habit to try to get something in my life, right? Like, I wasn't trying to create something so that I could have something external. What I did instead is I took a look at my behaviors, like when I woke up in the morning, or how I talked to myself during the day, and the inner conversations that I was having with myself and others. Just the way that I was like talking to myself in the mirror, the way that I was talking to myself if I made an error, the way that I was treating myself if I ever had thoughts or feelings that were not aligned to the way I wanted to feel, and ones that I used to view as negative. And took a step back and I was like, man, I really need to change the person that I am so that I can have this new life. I'm not treating myself the best way possible in some of these areas of life. And I think that's what's holding me back. And it was truly like an epiphany type moment. And I wanted to kind of point out, it's kind of hard to tell right now, but I'm actually filming. I like to film different areas of my house. I absolutely love my house. We moved in about a year and a half ago. It is the house that I've always wanted. It's a house that I really 10 years ago would have never imagined that we could even afford. And I absolutely love it. And I am currently filming in our speakeasy bar downstairs in the basement. So that's actually a hidden door. It's a bookcase on the other side, and it goes into our basement living room. And excuse me, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite places in the house, and I was like, "Man, I don't ever film down here." So I've got, like, 3 real favorite places. It's the loft, which I've definitely filmed in, my bedroom, which I for sure filmed in, and this bar, which I think is just phenomenal and I absolutely love. So now I'm down in the bar filming, and I feel like I'm being kinda quiet because there's people out on the other side, but I think this kind of life and having a home that you absolutely love and a life that you truly love is available to anybody. And so my purpose of creating content and doing these master classes was to show folks, here's how you can do this. Here's how you can make this work for you. And I'm hoping it works for you. I really feel like everybody has to figure out what works best for them. And until you can change your mind, you're not going to change your life. So these processes are here for you to kind of figure out the way that you want to live your life, the habits that you're maintaining. It's truly only going to work if you are completely honest with yourself. So, if you're ready to transform your life, I really hope that you are jumping into this, really putting some work into it. There's a workbook that I'll link below. Again, this is the third chapter. I'll put the playlist down below as well so you can watch the first 2 videos and the others that are coming up. I plan so far on this being a 3-part series. We'll talk about revision, emotional intelligence, regulating your emotions, keeping up with your nervous system, and really facilitating love in your life, and the different ways that you can use this in your own life. And I'll have workbooks with each one. You don't need my workbook by any means, but it is there if you would like to download it. I'll have that link down below as well. Now, of course, this is also the time that I say, if you want to keep the most up to date, make sure that you do subscribe and also put that little bell so that you get notified when I have a new video come out. I also have 2 podcast episodes currently that come out each week. So each Monday is a mindset motivation where I read from a either spiritual teacher or a book that I really enjoyed and kind of give my take on it, how I've gotten it to work in my life. I am currently doing a series on Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret. So this next Monday coming up, which I don't know the date now, but it's President's Day, I think February 19th, maybe. But this Monday is going to be the third chapter of Neville Goddard's Feeling Secret. And then every Wednesday, I tend to talk about a different way that you can either increase the love in your life, that you can become 1% better, that you can really kind of transform your life using the habits. So in my last video before this, I definitely talked more about habits. So a habit is a loop that you go through. Our entire lives are essentially built on habits, to be honest. And it starts with a cue, which is like your trigger. You go into your routine and then you get your reward, and then you kind of go back and forth over and over and over. And if you start to really pay attention, you'll notice these habits that you fall into. So your cue could be waking up in the morning, and that triggers an emotional response of either being worried or panicked or upset or going into an inner conversation that's arguing with somebody. You can look at these different pathways that you take and see that you're really falling into a routine based on a cue. And that cue can be anything: person, place, smell, time, driving by somewhere. I mean, there's so many different cues. And your routine can either be a physical routine, like you're going to get up and go do something, or it can be a mental routine, like a psychological one that you're falling into an emotional loop that you kind of continue to find yourself in. And so you can start to break these habit loops and really change them to be more aligned with the person that you want to be. And the purpose of today's video is to actually talk about the ways to cultivate gratitude. So I don't believe that you need to always be puppy, sunshine, and rainbows to get what you want. I'm definitely not. I get mad at people. I get upset. I can be cranky. I have emotions. And one of the things that I did that I think was a great gift to myself was I stopped labeling my emotions as negative. None of them were negative. They just were. Like they're just here. And any emotion that I feel is a very key insight into the position that I'm in. Where is my emotional state right now? If this thing triggered me, what is my state regarding whatever external event triggered me? What is the cue that put me into this routine? And why am I continuing it? Is it serving me or is it not serving me? Is it even something that I believe, or am I making it up and panicked about a possible future event, like an internal argument with a person? And so I stopped labeling, sorry, I stopped labeling my emotions as negative, and I instead just use them as a way to be curious about myself. What am I feeling right now? Why am I reacting that way? Is it because I need to eat? Am I dehydrated? Have I not been outside yet today? Did I not do my morning routine? Did I not get enough sleep? Or is this something that I need to really pay attention to? Because any emotional reaction is a part of you that is saying, hey, pay attention. I'm trying to save you from something. I'm trying to help you here. And so when I looked at it like that, I realized, well, there are no bad parts. There's just parts that sometimes are maybe acting up in a way that I don't want them to. And they're being a little loud right now, and I need to figure out why. And so the next step that I did, and that's avoiding toxic positivity, right? Something happens to you, you don't need to just like plaster this, everything's fine on my face and move on. You're allowed to feel. Now, the more that you actually allow these feelings to be, here's kind of the weird part, at least what I've noticed, the more that I've allowed these feelings to be, the less loud that they are. The more that I'm able to be indifferent to the things that I don't want to give attention to, the more that I'm able to instead direct my attention to the things that I want. And I even see like the silver lining and stuff. And you'll find that in time that the more that you allow yourself to feel, the less it's a battle, because you're not preventing yourself from feeling. You're not creating a fight within your own mind to not have these feelings. You're not squishing them down, because at that point, what you're really doing is you're attempting to deny them, but you're actually giving them more attention. And so the more that you kind of let them be and understand where they're coming from, is it a trauma response? Would you benefit, honestly, from talking to a therapist in your local area, which there's nothing wrong with that? Would you benefit from adding some other things to your daily activities to make you feel better and to be able to handle these emotional reactions a little bit better? care. And that's where your emotional intelligence comes in. And like I said, that's going to be a little bit further along. But if you want to jump ahead, I do actually have a lot of videos and a lot of podcasts on emotional intelligence, the ways that you can use your emotions as key insights into the way that you're feeling, and how to really deal with some negative thoughts that may bubble up. If you want any of those videos, because I'm not going to put all those links down below, but if you want any of those, leave it in the comments. I'll definitely find the video and or the podcast episode and put it so you can listen to it. There's also some phenomenal books. More Yourself by Sarah Waters is a phenomenal book if you want to understand about your different parts and how there are no bad parts. There are just parts that are trying to protect you, and sometimes they're louder than other times. And another one is Mind Hacking Happiness by Sean Webb. He's got 2 volumes, volume 1 and volume 2. They're both phenomenal. They're great books, and he has a lot of content online as well. So, those would be the 3 books that I would recommend if you definitely want to kind of dive in before my videos come out, or if you want to get more information. Those are books that I learned a lot from. So then the thing that we're going to jump into is talking about how to take care of yourself and adding daily joys to your day, and then making a plan for the way that you're going to spend your day and the way that you're going to spend your morning, so that you can have like small sustainable steps to increasing your natural feelings of gratitude. So, like I said, although I don't believe that you have to be sunshine and rainbows and puppies all the time to get a life that you want, I do believe in the power of gratitude. I think that the more that you can encourage gratitude and take care of yourself and fill your cup, the better off you're going to be. You're just going to feel better. This has been my experience, and it's definitely what I promote. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is taking care of yourself. One, taking care of yourself is not selfish, and you can do it in many different ways. It doesn't have to be bubble baths and long walks on the beach and doing skincare. It can be even things like you're doing today, spending the time to watch a video, spending the time to review the way that you're spending your day so that you can take better care of yourself. You can fill your cup. And the more that you fill your cup, the more you're able to give out to others. So if you're concerned, like I know I'm a mother, a lot of times I would feel guilty taking this time because I felt like there was so many other things that needed my attention, my children, my home, my spouse. And I would kind of put myself to the bottom of the list. And all that that would create was resentment and frustration and exhaustion. And so instead, I said, no, I can put myself first. I can make sure that I'm caring for me and God, me, my family. Absolutely. And I can take care of me. And it's not selfish because I have so much more to give to them. I don't then get frustrated. I don't have to worry about being the mom that snaps at my kids because that just doesn't happen to me. I don't feel like I need to. I don't feel like that those are the feelings that are coming up for me because I take care of me and I know that I my cup is filled and I do put attention to me, and my family knows that that's really important, and they know that it's important that they also take care of themselves and fill their cup. It's not like I feel like they need to give to me nonstop. It's also that I want them to care for themselves and take care of themselves. And one of the greatest ways that I have found to do this in my journal is to, or in my journal, in my journey, was to start doing daily joys. So, a daily joy, and if you get the workbook, you can do it in the workbook. If not, just grab a piece of paper and you're going to write out things that you enjoy doing. And it can be small things like drinking a cup of coffee, taking a bubble bath, reading a book, watching a movie, playing with your dog, calling your mom, texting a friend, playing video games, playing the guitar, playing the I was going to say botanic, but playing the piano, smelling flowers, having fresh flowers in your house. All these little things that you can do that are really things that you greatly enjoy, that bring you moments of joy, no matter how small. And even if you have to start with like something very small, like, well, I like to brush my teeth because that makes my mouth feel better. Or I like to make my bed because I like my room to be tidy. I like to light a scented candle. It can be anything, but you can do this huge list, and just about all those things are on my list. Um, and so, and you can add to it, right? Just like keep adding the more stuff that comes up to you. If it's like brushing your hair, braiding your hair, dyeing your hair, washing your hair, anything can go on this list. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start to make a plan for which of those daily joys you're going to incorporate into your life. But beyond just incorporating, you're going to pay attention to the moment that you're in with those daily joys. So, one of my favorites I do every single morning is my first cup of coffee. If you are new here, you will hear me talk about coffee a lot. I love that first cup of coffee. Like I really do. It's like I can think about it now and I want to sigh because I just think it's so wonderful. And the first cup to me always tastes the best. And so what I do is I get my first cup of coffee. I go and I sit on my couch or outside if it's not freezing cold. I'm in Colorado, if you can't tell by the shirt. I'm in Colorado and it is freezing cold in the mornings right now. So I don't really like to sit outside in the mornings at the moment. Not too early because I usually wake up between like 4 and 5. And that's just, it's like 9, 12 degrees outside. And I don't want to do that. So I'll go sit on my couch in front of the fireplace. It's one of my favorite places. My dog is down there with me and it is just really quiet in the house. And I take my cup of coffee and I focus on that moment. So there is nothing else that I'm worried about. I am becoming grounded in this present moment. And in the present moment is gratitude for something very simple in my life. And that's having my beautiful home, my cup of coffee, my wonderful dog, my quiet, peaceful morning in front of the fire. There is nothing in that moment that is wrong. Nothing at all. And I just take a drink of my coffee. And it's one of the things I just love. And if you even spend 30 seconds in that moment of just feeling what you enjoy, like another one I talk about is going to the park to swing. I think it's so fun to go swinging. And so if I just spend that moment feeling the wind in my hair, feeling how my belly feels when you come back down from a high swing, like those are things that are really enjoyable moments. And all it takes is 30 seconds to pay attention to that moment, and you'll start cultivating more feelings of gratitude. And anything that you do like this has a domino effect on your life. So the more that you do it, the more that you're encouraged to do it more, and the more that you start to notice these small moments that feel good. Like I realized a few months ago that what felt really good to me is even when it was cold outside, I love to open my sunroof and have like the sun come in and even feel like the cold air through my hair. And I would blast the heat in my car and listen to my audiobook or my podcast and just have my sunroof open just because it felt good. And I realized that that was now an additional daily joy for me, was to have the sunroof open and to feel that way because it just felt nice. And the more that I do this and the more that I consciously focus on it, the better I feel in other areas because I'm able to ground myself in this present moment. This is how you learn how to be in this moment right now. And truly, as crazy as maybe it sounded the first time I heard it, the only time we ever have is the present moment. We don't actually move through time. We're constantly in the present moment. Everything else is coming at us. So our future is coming towards us because we only have the present moment. That's all that we exist in. And it sounded so big and misunderstood to me when I first tried to read it. Like I was reading the Power of Now, and the first time that I read it, it did not land with me very well. And the second time, I was like, wow, I'm finally starting to get this because the more that I spend my life in the moment that I'm in, the happier I am, the more gratitude I feel, and the better things just keep getting for me. And it can still be difficult. Of course, I think about the past. Of course, I wonder about the future. And of course, I still have moments of technique where I put myself in a moment, like in a meditation or right before sleep, where I want to envision the person that I want to be. And when I make that a present moment envisioning, everything falls together for me. When I view it as a future event that I need to have an external event, future event that I need to have happen to have a feeling, that's where the frustration comes in. That's where I end up in a cycle that I'm not getting what I want. I'm not having the experiences that I want and I'm getting frustrated. And it's all because the more that you ground into having a feeling in this present moment, the more that you are cultivating those feelings and you're becoming that person. So I hope that that makes sense. So I want you to not only list what your joys would be, but then each morning when you first wake up, I want you to start saying a morning mantra to yourself. So you're going to wake up, and the one that I use is today is an absolutely amazing day, and I'm so thankful I get to live it. And I felt ridiculous when I first started saying this. But now I just say it all the time, and it just like comes up, and I wake up and I'm in this great mood, and I'm like, man, today is such a great day. And it is like every day I get to live is an amazing day, no matter what happens. It's a great day. And there can be things that really hurt and are frustrating and that I would prefer, honestly, to not have to live through that can happen in my day, but it's still a great day because I'm here and I'm able to have gratitude within those moments that I get to experience. And I want to take a moment here because I also have experienced great grief over the loss of a loved one. And I cannot say that in those moments that I would have been able to focus on gratitude. I was thankful to have loved them, but my miss and grief of them would be so overwhelming in that time that I can only imagine for others who may have suffered, deeper loss or harder to accept or take loss, or maybe I've had some traumatic losses in my life where it was very unexpected. And I know how difficult that can be. And I don't want to diminish those moments by saying that every day is a great day, because I know that those days are not necessarily great days. Those days are really freaking hard. And if you are struggling to process grief and you feel like you are in a cycle that you cannot get out of, I definitely want to recommend that you do go seek a licensed therapist in your area. I am not a licensed therapist. I have, like I said, experienced grief. I understand grief on many different levels. Or if you've experienced a very traumatic event that you're struggling to learn how to get your mind out of the trauma response, then I think finding a really good licensed therapist that's near you is really the best way to go. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of times I have found that the answers to prayers do come in the form of a therapist or the form of a doctor or the form of medication that's available to us. And I just want to make sure that everybody out there watching this knows that I completely support that. It's something that I've done in my own life. I've been to therapy. I've been to marriage therapy. I have been to doctors. I go to the dentist if I have a toothache. That is all stuff that I do, and I highly encourage for anybody else listening. So, even though you have your morning mantra, if you are struggling in something like that, please definitely go seek help. If you're really struggling to the point that you feel like you may be harmful to yourself or to others, that's just a part of you that is screaming out and wants some attention, and somebody who is licensed to help you get through that and to help you process those feelings would be much better suited for you than the videos that I'm creating. So I do want to go back to this. So you have your morning mantra, and then I want you to make a plan for your day of the way that you're going to incorporate these daily joys into your day. So you can do it as a to-do list, whatever you want to do. At 7 a.m., I'm going to do XYZ for my daily joy. At 2 p.m., I'm going to take a moment to step outside in the sunshine and bask in my daily joy and realize how wonderful the present moment is. But I want you to have an actual plan each and every day and do this again. We're putting 30 days into this. So do this for the next 30 days. Like, I am going to do this for 30 days. I'm going to focus on my daily joys. It'll be huge for you, I promise. And then each night, the other activity for you to do is to set a timer for 3 minutes. It can be less, it can be more, whatever you feel like you can give. And I want you to write out things that you appreciated about yourself that day. So it could be that you did your daily joys, that you got a really great parking spot, that you helped an elderly man load the groceries into his car, that you gave your kids a really wonderful compliment, that you baked some cookies that ended up being absolutely amazing, that your hair looked flawless, that your outfit was on point, that your shoes were completely clean and still white after 3 weeks. Whatever it's going to be. But I want you to spend time writing out all the things that you appreciate about yourself. And if you notice that you're starting to go down a path of like putting yourself down or being frustrated, then I want you to stop and say, well, what's something I appreciate? There can be parts of my body that I wish would be like better or firmer or more lifted or whatever it is. But then there's other parts that I'm like, heck yeah, I look fantastic. And I'm going to focus on those instead. I'm going to learn how to love myself and appreciate me for who I am, because I'm wonderfully me the same way that you're wonderfully you. So I want you to spend time each and every night. Again, it's in the workbook, so you can do it in the workbook or just do it in any notebook, piece of paper, whatever it is. But every single night, I want you to start thinking about the things you appreciated about yourself. So this is what we're covering for this video. Natural feelings of gratitude, very small steps, right? You're doing your morning mantra, you are doing your daily joys, and you are doing an activity each night to be appreciative of yourself and who you are. I will be back. The next one is going to be our step 2. So we'll do step 2, which is going to really lean in on emotional intelligence, using revision, being indifferent, kind of what that stuff means. So again, if there's anything else that you would like to ask or would like topics on or have some questions on, leave it in the comments. If you want to follow along, definitely make sure that you subscribe, and I will be back.